Hi Virgo, here is a general look at your solar chart for August 2014, and really this could be a time for some pampering, some nurturing, some rest and recuperation, but with a method to it. So this is a time for some self-reflection. This is a time for working behind the scenes in a more sensitive way. In a compassionate way, in a supportive way, but also it's a time for yourself, to take time for yourself. There's a lot of Neptunian energy around, particularly in the first 2/3 of the month, really, although actually, no, let's say the whole month. That means that, the whole month for you earlier, Virgo people, and that means that that's a very private world, and it's a world which is to do with higher levels, higher cause, higher understanding, higher service, and also resting your mind. So, until the 23rd, the solar energies are very much pulling you to things behind the scenes. I said resting your mind. As a matter of fact, Mars has just come into the same area as Saturn, and Saturn is in a very long transit, which is challenging your mind, as a matter of fact. So maybe just in this maybe the first half of the month, then we can say rest your mind, but then the mind has to be maybe a little bit more active. In fact, it will be a little bit more active from the 16th onwards. You're a mentally active sign anyway, having the ruler that you do, Mercury. But this is a time before the middle of the month for you to just rest your mind. However, Mars having come into the same area as Saturn means that Mars wants to stir up and rev up this area here. And that area is to do with communications. It's to do with using mental processing to work things out and to set things down on paper, maybe, whether that's through art or whatever way. But also educational pursuits, so developing yourself and your interests and your desires through, smoke signals, semaphore, seismographs, that's the way dolphins speak, and whatever, verbally, through the arts, whatever, and challenging you. This long Saturn transit actually challenges you, throws down the gauntlet and says, okay, what do you want to say? Show us what you can do, and then stick to this schedule, this routine, which it's like, oh God, do I have to do more of this? And also maybe by somebody else's quite tight, strict guidelines as well. Now, I'm mentioning all that kind of first-ish because Mars has just come into this area. So even though the advice would be to sort of rest your mind, allow it to be open to maybe the higher mind, particularly before mid-month, but even after mid-month, because actually probably allowing your mind to be open to the higher mind, which maybe means that you have to quieten your own personal mind, is probably quite a good thing. Because the higher mind, of course, has more of an eagle-eye view of things, you see. And it is your own higher mind. So you'll probably have to be more sort of inwardly aware because of the position of the Sun up until the 23rd. And don't expect too much of yourself, but also you might be looking back to the past a little bit there too. Now, I would say that on the 7th, that's a time that you should be particularly taking some time out, and definitely not giving yourself a punishing work schedule or lots of meetings or any important decisions on that day, because the dreamer in you will very much want to come to the surface and a deeper material will kind of want to bubble up as well. And then also you'll have to be quite determined and persevering around the 8th and the 9th, I think, because that will mean maybe certain friendships or associations that you've made. Yes, there will be support there. Yes, you will enjoy that facilitating coming from others, maybe in a group context, but they very much will be looking to you for that support, looking for you for that facilitation. And on those couple of days there, particularly the 8th, I would say, it might not be just a piece of cake. So just watch out for that. But team efforts in general and group gatherings in general are good, in person or over the wires, and also certain associations, and also pooling forces and resources with another could turn out to be really quite surprisingly interesting and progressive and mutually beneficial and facilitate positive experiences. Now, up until mid-month, Mercury is in this very background area. It's not an area very much of the rational mind. It's more the area of gut knowing and deep sort of sensing and sort of like depth sounding, really. And so you can be, you know, as introspective as you like, or as is possible within the parameters of your ordinary everyday life. But really with Mercury here, certain things could be up in the air. You don't get the clarity you want. It's not certain yet, you know. But it ain't over till the fat lady sings either. So you do better in a sort of private bubble with others. Working together maybe with others, or being just within this rather sort of cloistered private circle. And also working for a good cause, doing things that help others or that others are helping you. So definitely having some pampering and some therapies would be a good idea. And then from the 16th, Mercury does move into your sign, then very much putting you right in the stream of information exchange. A lot more coming at you that you have to use your rational mind for, and more paperwork perhaps, more coming and going, more to get your head around, and in general, more socializing probably. But put those people skills to work, but avoid major decisions around the 18th, 19th there, because you can be sort of prone to have your head in the clouds on that day there, all those couple of days there. Now, from the 12th, Venus moves into the same background area that the Sun is in until the 23rd. And it's very much you keeping your cards close to your chest to do with a relationship, or to do with your true feelings on something, or indeed you are being very much the good Samaritan, the support for somebody else behind the scenes there, or vice versa. It can be working in both ways. It's a great one, this, for those of you who are using your creative imagination, especially if you are building in this routine way through your communications area, which so you could come up with some amazingly creative and enterprising, maybe innovative, intriguing ideas that kind of just are conjured out of the air in that communications area there. So not having to really sort of sweat the small stuff too much. Venus in this background area can be very inspired, very spiritual, very much touching base, touching the higher mind, touching the higher knowing, touching the total knowing, rather than just a sort of a messy, pedantic little sliver of knowing. In fact, being able to sense and feel without being able to explain it or being able to put it into the words, the whole elephant, and not just have a piece of it. And that's what Venus can do there. However, on the other side of the coin, Venus here can make you uncertain about your feelings towards somebody, or figure out how somebody is because you're not quite certain. So there's just this feeling of things being, again, ambiguous and a bit vague. But a good idea would be just to immerse yourself in nurturing pursuits. Maybe artistic type pursuits, have a lot more music around you. That's a really good one for Venus in that area there. Poetry, meditation, things that feed your soul. And go to special sacred places as well if you can, with a nice little sort of special group of other sensitive people. That would be good. But if you do need help, then very much that compassionate support will be there for you, but another might be looking to you for some compassionate support as well. Excuse me. Now, I mentioned to you that Mars is really activating the solar communications area, and also it's about physical communications, toing and froing, flying hither and thither. It can be about vehicles. It can be, you know, that they've got to, you know, they need repairs or maintenance, or it can be about communications equipment needing repairs and maintenance. But also it can simply be about that you want to get certain things off your chest. And it comes into the area of this very, very slow, steady, quite heavy energy of Saturn. So if you want to do these things, you'll have to do them step by step, methodically, efficiently, competently, you know, and all those things you love, really, actually, Virgo, and getting the pieces of the puzzle together. Synchronous, not synchromeshing, is it? It's syncing things together, you see. Sort of in your mind, but also then in this Saturn way, in this, very much it rules the material world, setting it out in a way which, you know, it might be barreling out of you at a rate of knots where the Mars is, but then you have to go through the filter of it all being slowed right down. Maybe a bit like a jet plane hitting the runway with a parachute coming out the back. You know, it goes from very high speed to very, or maybe a rocket capsule, you know, tumbling at high speed out of space, then it hits the atmosphere, and then it hits the water, you know. So it might be really, really flowing in your mind, and Mars has got no patience. But then it has to come through the sort of the slowing filter of Saturn. And another thing to be careful of here is that you don't come across too heavily to others, so that they construe it as being negative or critical. This is a major concern with Mars and Saturn together in this area. Mars will be coming out of that area in middle of September. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but yes, I think I did, is to take some downtime on the 29th. Yes, because you shouldn't expect too much of yourself on that day there. And you Virgos born in the middle 10 days or with 15 to 19 degrees rising, are going to feel the Saturn energy the most this month. And in conclusion, Jupiter has gone into a very background area also of your chart for 1 year, so it'll be coming out of there next August, and this is your major time for tying up loose ends in preparation for the new 12-year cycle ahead from next August onwards. So this is your time to very much in this cocoon, in this chrysalis area, to prepare for the birthing of this beautiful butterfly that will be coming up. But you need to finish things off. You need to come to terms with certain things to do with the past, and also in your conditioning, in your energy field, really, in your wiring, and do whatever you can over this 12 months to just get that that resolution there. Recapitulation, review, and resolution, very much so. And also just a quick mention of Neptune for you born in the first 10 days or with 6 to 8 degrees rising. You just need to watch out that, you know, Neptune's in your opposite sign, And you early Virgos will feel this, that you mustn't put somebody else on a pedestal. You mustn't think that what they're saying or they're knowing or they've achieved or they're standing is so above you, and you aspire, you know, because to thine own self be true. I didn't mean to point my finger at you. Well, I don't think I did actually, but I feel, you know, having been there and done it and got the T-shirt, you see, you just need to respect and honor yourself, really, just as much, not in an ego way, and be gentle and kind to yourself, and use that compassion and that understanding towards yourself, because the thing with Neptune here, it can make you be that, you know, that frightened little martyr that just thinks, if I shrink myself up to a tiny, tiny dot, that will be the best thing that I can do for everybody else. Well, in fact, no, it's not. You are here to realize your full potential, because you are a slice of God, you know, and wow, that's so beautiful. And you are so beautiful, and you need to honor that. So be slowly developing, you know, what is wanting to evolve within you, and develop yourself, your concepts, your hopes and your dreams towards the future. Okay, do it in a sensible way. Use your common sense, but of course, you know, you would, wouldn't you? You're a Virgo. And that's it for August. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. Or if you need to check anything up, this text is all written up on my website. And I wish you well, and I'll see you the next time.